Oh my God, dude. That beer fridge is still the best fucking beer fridge. It's like the coldest refrigerator I've ever had in my whole life. It was like $80 from Walmart like 10 years ago.
Well, did you ask permission from your girlfriend if you can have a beer tonight?
I don't need to ask permission.
But you need to ask permission for the second one, right?
I'm leaving.
Oh my God,
Do you need to submit a formal request for more than 2?
I need to send an allotment extension.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Marcus.
I'm Atrax.
And I'm Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, August 3rd, or in Cheryl's world, it's August 4th, 2023. And you can find this 209 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away.
You can also find every single Working Class Nerds episode on YouTube. Just search for the Working Class Nerds podcast or go to youtube.com/@workingclassnerds. Click on playlist, click on Working Class Nerds, and boom! Every single episode, past and present, right there, right for you to watch. Ready.
And you can watch me play video games currently Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays now at marcuskick.com/MarcusB814.
You can also watch me play video games Friday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/A_Atrax.
And you can watch me play video games every single Monday night at twitch.tv/NickVern51.
And we're all on social media. I am at MarcusB814.
I am at Atrax_A.
And I'm at Nick Vern. That's NACKVR. In this week's episode, we have Cheryl on the show from Prideful Sloth. Prideful Sloth are the awesome developers who are working on the game that we played on stream and talked about on the show. It's Go-Go Town. So thank you for coming on the show, Cheryl. And what have you been up to?
Thank you for having me. I think I've been very busy lately. Marcus and I have tried multiple times to get a time to work. And I think last one it was I had lost my voice after Bit Summit, which I apologize for.
Oh, totally get it.
But yeah, so we're busy with lots of things at the moment. We just wrapped up Bit Summit in Japan. I'm getting ready for Gamescom in Germany in a couple of weeks. And we're getting ready for our next Go-Go playtest. So early September right now. We're picking a date somewhere in there. I don't know. But yeah, lots of going on.
By the end of this podcast, everybody, we're going to have that date. Don't you worry. But what did you think of Japan?
I love it. I started to work out. It's probably my most traveled place in the world outside of the U.S. So I obviously go there a lot. But it was also really, really hot. It was gross. It was 37 Celsius the day I left. So I was also glad to get out.
All
I
right,
don't know what that translates to in Fahrenheit. Sorry, but it translates to
that's okay.
sweaty mess.
Nick is already on it.
That's body temperature. That's 98.6. I was going to say in freedom units.
Freedom units.
There it is.
That's really hot, though. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's warm.
So, Atrax, what have you been up to?
You know, I mentioned this a long time ago on some episode. I don't even remember which one. That I started listening to audiobooks when I was falling asleep.
Yep.
And that didn't really work out for me because I would fall asleep and then I wouldn't remember what part of the audiobook I was at, and so I'd end up listening to like the same part of the audiobook over and over again because I kind of wanted to know what was going on, but then also I didn't want to just jump into the middle of the book, you know, like I'm trying to fall asleep, but I'm trying to not also trying to listen to the book, and I don't know, it didn't work for me. Well, now at work I've been listening to music a lot, but I thought, hey, I still have my Audible subscription for some reason, didn't cancel it, so I should start listening to some audiobooks because I've been paying for it. Even if I cancel it, I've got like 3 credits that I need to use and I paid for.
For
So I
shizzle.
finally finished the World of Warcraft audiobook that I bought, Rise of the Horde, which is kind of considered like the first one, even though it wasn't the official first one made.
Yeah.
It's kind of considered like the start of the lore. I haven't actually finished a book of any sort in a really long time. And I only have an hour and a half left of this one. It's around 11 hours, and I have an hour and a half left. So I've listened to 10 hours over the course of this week. And, I mean, it's a really good book. It's kind of tough because it's someone who doesn't have an orc or ogre voice narrating and reading the book that is mostly orcs and ogres.
That's tough.
So it's kind of but also at the same time, it's one of my favorite voice actors who does Sylvanas Windrunner for World of Warcraft, so I'm sticking it through because I'm determined. And also the book is really good. It's about the Horde and how the Horde was formed from the orc clans and all of that good stuff. So I will be getting the next book in the series. I really want to get the Sylvanas Windrunner book, but that one is book like 20 into the series. I know that you can kind of jump around because it's World of Warcraft, so maybe I will. I'm going to get the next book in the series first, and I'm going to listen to that. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was The Well of Eternity, I think is the next one, is what it's called. But I don't know. I'm excited for it. I've enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to the next one. It's also gotten me to play a little bit of WoW Classic and play as an orc just to see like where they are now in comparison to where I am reading the book. And even
cool.
the intro cutscene is like, the orcs came, or, you know, like the orcs in Azeroth are here from this and that and the other thing. You know, and I was like, oh yeah, this in the book. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This happened in the book. I forgot about that. Wow, that's okay. So here we are now. You know, because I've played WoW for a considerable amount of time, but I've never really paid attention to the lore. But I know the characters, you know, the main characters. So it's been fun going to that and playing some WoW Classic too, because WoW Classic is super relaxing. It's so chill.
I do understand what you're saying, so I can talk a little bit about... So I've done a lot of audiobooks, a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, more than me, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's like 80 in my library on Audible, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do. But what I will say is it's hard for me to get into a book if it's not the highest of quality. And what I mean by that is like no sounds to go with the book. If it's like I tried to read the Mass Effect or listen to the Mass Effect books, and it was just somebody reading it. It was silent behind them. There was no like production quality, and I couldn't get into it. Like I love Mass Effect, but like I couldn't get into it because there was no production quality. So I do understand, and I do agree that when a voice actor does not, like, you, in my opinion, you don't have to talk like an orc, or you don't have to talk like Yoda. Just talk, like, in your normal voice. Don't pretend to try to be Yoda, because you don't sound like Yoda.
Well, I thought it was good. I just thought that instead of a female voice, they should have gone with a male voice. But I also understand that the person who wrote it is a voice actor, and also, like, it's the same person who wrote the book is doing the narration, and they are also a voice actor. So it's like, I understand the choices, and, like, I forget who narrated it. Christy Golden, I think, is the person. I forget. Anyway, but did a good job. I'm not saying that, but I felt personally the voice didn't fit the entire tone of the book. Should have been like someone with a really like deep, gruff voice.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
But also at the same time, I mean, I've made it through the entire audiobook, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. The book is well read, and it's well written. Everything, from my perspective, makes sense, and, you know, I can understand what's going on, which, from someone who hasn't read a book and finished a book in a really long time, that's been good times. Also, on the good times list, Remnant 2 continuing to be really, really fun. I haven't been able to play co-op with anybody yet. The schedules just haven't matched up. My buddy Harrison needs to upgrade his PC after an eternity. And no one else that I know. I haven't been able to do co-op yet. But when I do co-op, I want to play on hardcore mode because my first playthrough, it's been challenging, kind of, but as soon as I die and I know why I died, then I don't really make that same mistake again, in the sense of, like, in boss fights and stuff. There's this one really, really crazy boss that the cutscene intro to it was like, I was like, whoa, what the heck is going on? In my first few deaths, I was like, how on earth, what am I supposed to do? But as soon as I figured it out, then, you know, it was more of a puzzle boss than an actual, like, fight boss.
Yeah.
And once you figure out a puzzle boss, then it's not really that difficult. You can make it through without dying. But I will say that I'm sure on this one, I'm not going to give spoilers, but I'm going to say on this one, as soon as you figured out what to do, I think you would be fine, Marcus. I think you would be okay. But, like, the first few times, like, I mean, same for me. And that's how they're designed. The first few times, like, the cutscene, you're like, whoa, what the heck is going on? And you're just like, whoa, wait, there's all these moving parts, and I'm dead. But then as soon as you know, like, how the parts move, and, you know, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, scary boss fights, puzzle boss fights, the best moments for them are when you get introduced to them and trying to figure out the puzzle. And, I mean, that's what... I like that Remnant 2 has... It's not just your traditional run-in, fight a boss, dodge his attacks, don't die. They're throwing in kind of unique encounters as well. And that's always a good time, especially the first playthrough. Maybe on subsequent playthroughs, not so much. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing on hardcore with friends, too. Be good
That'll
times.
Be great. That
Yes.
sounds very fun.
I need to convince one of you gentlemen, maybe Nick.
It won't take a lot of convincing. I actually want to play Remnant 2 anyway.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll play medic. I want to do some healing. You can go in there, do whatever you want.
Sounds good to me.
And we've reached that time. It's Game of the Month news. In Game of the Month news, we have a new Game of the Month because it is a brand new month. It's August. And the Game of the Month for August is... Do we have a drum roll? No?
Oh, we do. We do, but I didn't...
Sorry. I should have cued you, Nick. All right, ready?
It's too late now. It's too late.
The Game of the Month for August is... Guild Wars 2!
Oh, snap.
That's right. With the expansion Secrets of the Obscure coming out... Secrets of the Obscure coming out August 22nd, and it being a game that I have played for, I think, 400 hours. It's brought me a lot of enjoyment, and I have met a lot of great people in the community as well through that game. I thought it was a perfect choice for this month. I know Marcus also has the game, and he really likes it, and he's excited to play it and stop playing Destiny. And... Nick hasn't played it yet, but that's okay.
But Nick's not an MMO gamer.
MMOs aren't really for him, but that's fine. I will be playing it for this month to, of course, showcase it because it's Game of the Month. And, like SWOTOR, a good majority of it is free to play. So, if you in the community, and I know a lot of our community already plays Guild Wars 2, but if you haven't, then hop on in, download it, and get excited for the new expansion.
Woo woo. Yeah, I appreciate you guys accepting me for who I am and not, trolling too much.
That's all right. We troll you with other stuff, like
Right.
Division 2 paintball.
Exactly.
Hey, Marcus.
Yeah.
How's it been going for you, man?
It's good. I'm gonna build back a couple of things that you talked about. I'm gonna put all on your bullet points. So, I'm going on vacation. I leave on Saturday morning. Gone for a week. So you two mother truckers are gonna
Hold down the fort.
hold down the fort for the podcast next week. I'm not here. So, going with that, I'm really excited for the game of the month because I am absolutely in love with Guild Wars 2. And on vacation, I'm not going to be playing Destiny. I'm bringing my laptop. No, I'm not. Because I don't like playing it on my... See, the problem is you guys know, when you have an awesome desktop and, like, you have your keyboard, you have your mouse pad, you have your keyboard with your wrist, you know what I mean? Like, you have your 27-inch monitor, and it's one of those things.
Yeah.
And then you go to your 15-inch laptop, and you're, like, crunched over the dining room table.
Like
you
a
look
shrimp.
like... what's that guy from The Simpsons?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The hunchy guy with, like, the mostly
The
bald
old
head.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the old guy from Family Guy.
Fuck, no, not the
How's
old
it
guy
going?
from... No, that's not the guy. It's not Smithers is his assistant.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Burns.
Mr.
Oh.
Burns, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
Mr.
Like,
Burns.
that's what I feel like when I'm playing a 15-inch,
Laptop.
like, a laptop. But, like, so because, like, so I won't be really playing Destiny much. I'll be playing Guild Wars because everybody goes to bed so early. So, like, I'll set up the laptop. And Guild Wars is awesome because, like, there's no pressure. Like, I just go around and explore and just kill stuff. And what's really cool is, like, the game is essentially free for me right now because, A, I'm not anywhere near max level. B, I haven't done all the content. C, A-Trax purchased the game for me. So I don't... There's no subscription or anything. So, like, for me, I'm pretty excited for it. It's a really good game of the month, but let me ask you this. If the new expansion comes out the 23rd, there's a good chance that September is going to be Guild Wars 2 as well. It might be game of 2 months because you're going to have a hot new expansion to keep playing.
You never know. We'll see
But-
come September.
Yeah, I don't think there should be a rule against that. Like,
No,
if
there isn't. There are no rules other than I somehow arbitrarily pick the game of the month and announce it on the podcast, and we talk about it for the entire month.
right,
I mean, I do put thought into it, but
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
and any community suggestions. Go ahead, let me know.
Oh no,
DM
no,
me.
it's- for sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
We should do like a Mortal Kombat month.
We should do
Like-
a fighting game tournament.
Well, whatever. We can do
Yeah,
that
as
as
soon
well.
when Multiverses comes out, then we'll probably do Game of the Month. That'll probably be Game of the Month
Yes.
because we've done that in the past.
that'd be
well,
fun.
Anyway, so I've been, as you guys have known, I have been streaming on Kick a lot. I'm absolutely loving the platform because it's very simple. It's not super complex. I feel like it's just like a fresh start, and I've talked about this a while, but I am pretty much sticking on Kick. I feel like it's a good place for me. I feel like I was getting lost in Twitch and losing that spark, you know what I mean? And being on Kick has given me that spark again to like really enjoy streaming. Like I liked it before. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. But it's an opportunity to grow the podcast, meet some new people, and just be on a platform where maybe I have chance to grow.
Yeah, that
You know
makes
what I
sense. Yeah, you're enjoying
Yeah.
like the growth potential instead of like potential like plateau kind of.
Yeah, stuff I like about the podcast is like I just found out you can host somebody, which is basically a raid in Twitch.
You mean
It
about
is-
about the platform? Because you said about the podcast.
Oh, I meant the platform Kick.
Yeah.
But like I don't get stream summaries. Like I don't know who's watching the podcast. Oh my god, watching the stream. Like I like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it just being basic. Like granted it's going to change and there's going to be more sophisticated stuff that comes over time.
Yeah.
But I'm just enjoying being the platform. I'm not saying that I'll never stream on Twitch again, but I'm really enjoying Kick, and why not? It's at the ground level, and why not just play the game? You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been learning to teach raids in Destiny with the Run Next Week Guardians, and I want to say thanks to all the people on the team because they've been super patient with me, and like shout out to Obi who's really helped. It's really hard learning how to teach a raid with people who have never raided before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because
Yeah.
like you're learning how to teach it and they're learning the raid. So
And
it
they're
makes
learning
it
raids in general.
raids in general, and it makes it really difficult for me. But I've been really lucky because we've had like Oma or Goldie has helped out a ton, or Scarlet, but then Obi has filled in a ton and really helped me learn the raid. So it's going really well. We beat Vault of Glass, which is pretty much the easiest raid in the game. But again, when 3 people have never done the raid on the team, that you're learning the mechanics and you're learning the game. So that's been a lot of fun. Clan Night this week was amazing, but the big thing is I'm coming back to the whole book and audiobook thing that my counterparts here have talked about. I have been physically reading. I read a Warhammer book, and I fucking love it. I finished it, and then I went to grab book 2 that I thought I bought. I bought book 3.
Oh, that's a classic
Ooh,
Marcus move.
Rough.
Yep. So I already purchased 2 other books from the series. So one is like the Ambius books when they like put like 3 books in one book, like 3 separate books to like sell it. You know what I mean? It's like a culmination of the books in one book, so it's just one book, but it has 3 individual books in it.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so I opened it up, and this one is actually hard to read for me because they're packing 3 200-page books into a one book. They made the text really, really small.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's so much text on the paper on each page. It's like it's almost too much, and it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like it's not an enjoyable read.
Yeah, I like a
Yeah,
nice
gotcha.
14 font with pictures.
With pictures.
There you go.
I'm just saying, like, you can tell that they like crunched it together to get it in the book
Yeah.
to make everything fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like this book is like that. Like the
Yeah, it's
fucking
not-
tech.
No, see, that's normal. This,
Oh, really?
I'll send you a picture of
Worse
the
than
text.
this?
Yes.
Oh, damn. See, this is
Yeah.
pretty small for me. It's about as low as I'll go. Like, I feel like a bunch of the books I read in college or, like, later in high school and college were, like, this size.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture later.
Okay.
But like A-Track said, he's getting into books, and I am too. I'm making time. Like on my non-streamer podcast nights, I've been going up to my room and turning on like the lamp next to my bed and just reading, even if it's 5 pages, just reading some. But I'm really looking forward to vacation because I'm going to make time to read
Yeah.
and like just chill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's going to be okay. I've also the audiobook I've been listening to is It's the new Star Wars book. I'm going to get you guys the name. And it is called Star Wars Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade. So suppose somebody said to me that this is a prequel to the Ahsoka series. I haven't gotten there yet, but it's taking a big part in the Clone Wars. So maybe it's going to all come to fruition.
Okay.
With Ahsoka, but I'm waiting to see. But I'm going to go with what Atrax was talking about earlier about like the audio, the actor isn't, doesn't do a good voice. This voice actor is a female and she's doing Yoda and it's fucking awful. Like, I would much rather her read it in her normal voice, do or do not, there is no try, rather than do or do not, there is no try. And you're like, ugh, it's like cringe. Like,
yeah,
you're not Mark Thompson, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're playing the female protagonist so well.
Yeah, like if you do, you don't have to do Yoda's voice. You can,
Right.
And
I gotcha.
Like she does Mace Windu, but she's just reading Mace Windu. She's not trying to be the person. You know what I mean? So for me,
totally,
it takes me out like every time, and I'm like, oh, please no more Yoda, please no more Yoda, because I'm just like, it sucks when like you don't have to do the Yoda voice in order to read Yoda.
Yeah. I actually thought some of the character voices in some of the Thrawn books were ridiculous. Like, I actually stopped listening to one of them. It's the third book in the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, the prequel one. Yeah, it's like there's a character that's just the voice is so obnoxious, it's really hard to get through. It's like supposed to be because it's some weird alien voice, but it's like...
Wait,
ugh.
Thrawn Ascendancy, like the newest, the final book in that trilogy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck! It was great at the end.
I didn't get to, no. I'm probably a third of the way into it.
Oh, it's so good. I finished that. Yeah,
no, I will.
See,
I gotta go back. But
and the problem that I ran into with my book is that it's not necessarily that the voices were bad. I thought the voices were actually good. It's just that a majority of the characters talking were these like super surly, war-hardened orcs.
yeah,
And you have this, you have the person who voices Sylvanas reading the book. So it's kind of just like a majority of the book is just kind of like, oh, well, the voices are good, but it doesn't match the characters, like the main characters. But all the other voices, I don't know.
I get you.
Yeah.
It's tricky because you don't want two different readers either necessarily.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
my final thing is, I will see everybody when I get back from vacation. There's a good chance that like I'm going to be turning off my phones. Well, obviously the work phone's going to be off, but like my own phone is probably going to be off for a few days.
Yeah.
And like
Makes sense.
I'm just looking forward to being with the kids.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
That's nice.
And drinking, like deciding, like believe it or not, deciding what beer I'm going to drink.
Wow. Well, this is old reliable, but I do like a nice IPA sometimes.
Well, so hear me out. I find Modelo to be super salty. Like I'm thirsty after I drink a Modelo, where like if I drink a Corona, I'm like refreshed.
Quenched?
Yes.
I don't find
Coronas,
I don't find
Coronas are great.
I don't find Modelo to be salty. There's
That's
no
my
salt in here.
go-to
Yeah.
party beer.
Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it
just
used to
every
be mine.
day. Continue.
Anyway, so Nick, what has TK427 been using to keep you locked up in a room?
The Force. No.
Well,
I was
there's a stormtrooper with the Force. Oh,
Dang, I didn't know TKs
But they
were
still
force
miss.
sensitive. That's
but they
insane.
still miss.
Maybe
Yep.
it's like Jar Jar. Maybe it's just like on
Secret
purpose.
Sith Lord?
Yeah, secret Sith Lord.
Oh my God. You see, they're saying that because I wrote TK427's birthday was yesterday, so I stayed down with her. Excuse me, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then went to work. Well, I worked remotely on Wednesday, so I just had my laptop with me. That worked out nicely. Excuse me. And yeah, that was cool. It was cool to like do positive birthday stuff.
Well, and it's official because he put it all over social media.
I did do that. It's Facebook official. Changed the profile photo and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to dinner with her mom and stepdad and siblings, so like that's where we took the photo.
It's family official too. There it is.
I got to meet her dad's side of the fam, but yes. I've also in video game news. I've been playing Warzone with my paintball friends pretty often. What? What are you laughing at?
I was just curious does she allow you to play for an hour or two?
Oh my god! I can do what I want. Okay.
I do what I want.
I'm a big kid now.
I do what I want.
Fuck you. they're pull-ups, not diapers. But anyways, I've been playing Warzone with paintball friends pretty regularly, and it's actually really fun. It's like nice having I don't know, squad of folks to play with or whatever. Not that I didn't before, but I don't know why. Maybe I'm just into it more now or something. I like keep looking up. Like I followed a couple of YouTubers. I think I forgot the names. I'll look them up, but a couple of YouTubers that put out like, hey, these patch notes came out. Like, here's what these changes mean. And they like do the math. I'm like, okay, so now this gun for long ranges has the best time to kill, and then this gun for short ranges has the next time to kill, and then like these 4 or 5 guns are like still, you know, you can use if you prefer that style, but blah blah blah. And like I've been actually using the guns properly now, and that's way better. Like to actually have like a fair gunfight with somebody, like towards the end of a game, you know.
But this is pretty much your trend. You play a story game, and when you finish it, you're like, oh, I'm going to start the next RPG, but you end up playing Call of Duty for a while because it's your old reliable, and you say it every time, oh, I fucking love it. Like, this is the first time I've seen you actually get into, like...
Warzone? Or the guns and stuff?
No, like, more, like, videos on, like, oh, hey... The AK-47 is getting nerfed by 8%, but but the AK-74 is getting a buff. Use the AK-74, like you're getting into it,
right? Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And playing with people that are like good players or decent players, and you have opportunities to win. That also makes it fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because if you're playing with people like me who are just shitters and you can't get through the first ring, then, you know, it's just like, all right, let's go play multiplayer. Right. But if you're playing Warzone and you're doing your job and your friends are doing theirs, it is actually fun.
Yeah, definitely. You can be like, and honestly, well, especially because we all play paintball, like, the comms are really easy. It's like, oh, hey, let's rotate left, let's go up here. Like, you're getting too far ahead. Like, the sort of rhythm of that talking is already, like, built into all of us. It's like the same thing as the paintball field. It's just that what you're saying is different content. But that's cool. I did get to finish. They have like events. They have the battle pass, of course, each season. But then they have events within the season too. And I don't know if you guys saw, they had the boys characters as operator skins you could get.
I did see that.
It was pretty cool. I ended up having enough COD points to buy one of them for like without actually spending money, just from playing.
Which one did you get?
I got Black Noir, the like all black, because it's like tactically that's the best one because you can like hide in shadows, people can't even see you. But no, Homelander looks cool too, and so does Starlight. But I mean, if you watch the show, like I don't know, The Boys is a fucking good ass show.
Yeah, listen, and Starlight is like perfect,
pretty much. I did get to finish the season 4.
Starlight.
That event.
Starlight.
All right. Anyways, the wow, this is a really anticlimactic media board. Thanks for that. I was trying to play Meanwhile back at the ranch, but it's just buffering. But anyways,
wah wah.
Yeah, big time wah wah.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch. I can't do it like Kitty, but I tried.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch. I have to plug my nose to get it to sound anything close. But
meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Oh my god. What the fuck was I just saying? Oh,
you got to finish the season.
Season 4 event. Yeah, season 4 is over. Season 5 started today, I believe. And so there's some changes to the gun balancing and things, but the season 4 event was pretty cool. That's what correlated with the the boys skins coming out was like you got to do different challenges for each type of gun, and then each if you complete the challenge for that class of gun, like assault rifles, submachine guns, snipers, etc., then you get a specific camo for it. It's VOTS, the company from the boys. It's like their logo all over it. But then if you get all of those challenges done, you get a cool universal skin for every gun, and it's like this like red, like bright red, like velvety pattern that moves with like card symbols on it, kind of, which is pretty cool. Yeah, like it's all red, different shades of red, but that's pretty cool. I ended up getting that done, which is cool. Because now, honestly, you know what, like, motivated me to do it? I noticed all the YouTubers that I watch that are up to date with that all had that on their guns. Like, oh, yeah, like, we got the thing unlocked already, you know?
Wow, it worked.
It worked. It made me play it, too. Well, like, I don't know. That felt, I didn't want to be, I wanted to be in the cool guy club, you know?
No, I'm totally with you. As a CSGO player, man, look, skins equals wins, all right? I'm telling this to everybody out there, too. Look good, feel good, play good.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to if you have your favorite gun skin, you win. You just win.
I agree. It's all about that drip.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I have that philosophy with paintball, too, 100%. Look good, feel good, play good. In other nerdy interests, one of the gifts I got TK427 for her birthday is what? Why are you looking at the ceiling and gurgling, Marcus?
There's no gurgling. There's a cobweb.
Oh,
my ADD kicked in.
Got it. Balloons. I got
it's squirrel.
You're right.
Piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. One of the gifts I got, TK427, a.k.a. my girlfriend, is this scratch-off movie poster of the top 100 movies on IMDb, where, like, it's like you can scratch off, like, the little logos as, like, you watch them. Because she hasn't seen a lot of movies, but she likes movies a lot. But I have seen a lot of movies, and, like, we saw Oppenheimer the other week, which was really cool. I think it's just a fun thing, and it's an excuse to trick her into watching the original Star Wars trilogy, because all three of those movies are on there.
And hey,
and the Lord of the Rings movies are too.
Next week's episode, when I'm not here, I want to make a drinking game. So every time Nick mentions TK427, you got to take a sip.
Fuck.
And it's a chug your drink when he says TK427, my girlfriend.
Fuck. Whatever.
Yeah, I love it.
That's fantastic. All right,
add it to the bingo card.
Exactly.
Oh,
all right, let it be known, working class nerds cannot be held liable or responsible for any alcohol-related injuries that occur while listening to the show.
Please
Blame
drink
Nick.
responsibly.
Please drink responsibly.
Blame Nick.
Yeah, it's definitely my fault. Speaking of, I don't know what. There's no transition there. Marcus is reading all the time. Inspired me actually to buy a book yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
I stopped into Barnes & Noble while I was hanging out with TK427. And
who's TK427?
Oh, that's my... Thanks for asking. That's my girlfriend. Her real name is Taylor. But, so... I was walking around the store, like, not really wanting to buy a book, and then I came across the Lord of the Rings section, and they had the Silmarillion, and I was thinking about how fucking terrible that Rings of Power show was, and I want to see, like, what the real content was supposed to be like, so I bought the Silmarillion book.
Do you have a Joker bookmark?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that, too. I also got a very cool deck of cards. They're called the Hidden Deck from Bicycle, and they're all, like, they're black on the back with, like, red... crazy symbols from like different secret societies, and I don't know, they're cool. Like all the faces are like skulls and stuff, like on the face cards. I'm holding them up so the guys can see. That's the Ace of Spades. Here's like the Queen thing, skulls. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. When I was on vacation in Maine, my family and I played a ton of pitch, also known as setback, which I really enjoy. I don't know why. It's just sort of puzzly, sort of not.
Yeah.
It's just a fun card game. But
Well, I'm telling you, man, I loved reading, and then I've gotten so busy. But making time to read, this first book, I crushed in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
I crushed it. On my lunch, if I was working alone, I was reading. Or before bed, like I said, even if it's one page, you just continue. But I find that I love it, and you can make time to do it. And you just, I don't want to say hold yourself accountable, but hold yourself accountable that you're going to read every day and you'll get through the book.
Yeah.
Even if it's a page, just make sure you're reading every day.
No, that makes sense. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think I just needed some content that I really wanted to know about. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is a great this is going to suck me in because it's I want to know more about that lore,
Right. Well, that's why I love reading the Warhammer books.
Yeah.
But Audible, the Star Wars books, because
yeah,
when I read the Star Wars books, they're not as good as the Audible books. Because the Audible books, the Star Wars books, are like a fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they have all different sounds and different voices and stuff, right?
But believe it or not, the Warhammer book had, sound and the chainsaws, guns, the bolt guns, they made the noises. It wasn't as high a production as the Star Wars books.
Yeah.
But it's really high production.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we have any AIE news?
In AIE news, Summer of Love is this week. And let me tell you, it's been busy since Saturday or Sunday when it started. But on Tuesday, SWTOR Corley hosted The Amazing Race, where if you remember, what the show is, The Amazing Race. It's basically he does that all over the game, and it ends on Hoth where you jump off a bridge. It's called Pancake, where one person jumps off the bridge, lands, and then everybody has to jump off the bridge, and the closest person to it wins.
Closest person to that, first person to jump?
Yeah, the first person that died. And it's called Pancake. Yeah, it's a fun event. But while that was going on, we probably had the biggest and best clan night ever in Destiny 2. Since I've taken the helm as game director for Destiny 2, I don't know how long it's been. The clan has been steadily growing. But this week, for Summer of Love, it was packed. Usually, there's pages when you look at how many people of your friends or clanmates are online. It shows we had 2 pages of people logged into the game, which means it's growing pretty well together.
Yeah.
And we ended our clan night with a private PvP match. We used to do that a little while ago with some other friends, and we have been doing it for the past couple of weeks. And let me tell you, doing a private PvP match with your friends, yes, you're not getting rewards, but it's actually a lot of fun to be able to shoot your friends and have fun and talk shit, and nobody's getting pissed off. You know what I mean? Well, one person is basically still blaming that we're cheating, but that's just par for the course. Anyways, but it was great. And then after Tuesday for Destiny's Clan Night, yesterday, which is August 2nd, was our Remembrance Day, where we remember all those people from the guild who have become one with the Force.
Yeah.
And I think this is our second annual. After Remembrance Day, the original raid team that I joined in SWTOR with Albus and Mal, we do an annual ops run, an operation raid for Jana, who has become one with the Force, and she used to run the team, and they kept the team going through all these years. So every year, this is the second one since she passed, that we all run the raid together.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. And believe it or not, I'm going to talk about SWTOR for a second here. I had a lot of fun. It felt good to be back in the game. And I remember why I love it so much.
Yeah.
Forget about all of the extra bullshit that comes with a game like that. Just for that hour and a half, I had a ton of fun. it was good to go back.
Right. And
But if you are interested in any of the guild events, depending on when this comes out, we have guild events going on from now until Sunday. So please do not hesitate to get involved.
And if all this sounds fun to you, go to AIE, the letters, -guild.org. That's AIE-guild.org. Get our Discord information in the top right-hand corner of the website. Click that purple icon and ask for a guild invite, whether or not you play Star Wars: The Old Republic, Destiny 2, Gold Wars 2, World of Warcraft, or whatever other games that you play. So do we, and we would love to have you.
Cheryl, can you tell us, what do you do for Prideful Sloth?
Oh dear.
Okay, is it easier to say what you don't do?
This is the esoteric job description. Everybody here is multidisciplined in our studio, so there's no one person that holds a single job. So that's part of it. So we also try and do the directors in the company. We try and share responsibilities, so no one person is stuck doing a single job on their own. So having said that, design. I work on the design team. I guess I could be called a creative director. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like I'm a creative or a director, so there's that. Otherwise, I do, again, shared responsibility, but production, we share responsibility there. A lot of the business management side of things, events management. So it's localization side, writing, take your pick. It's pretty much, I don't code. That's probably about it. So
wow.
And
Right.
I don't do art. I'm unless you want to see tragic stick figures. That's my art level. So yeah, Marcus
Same
is like,
here.
please.
That's my art level. My son is always asking me to draw stuff, and I just draw stick figures. He goes, "Daddy, that doesn't look like that at all." So I have no artistic capabilities. I have the gift of gab.
I was going to say, well, you draw cabinets designs pretty okay.
Well, I feel like that's
not
different.
That's not creative, though. That's like analytical, like line.
Yeah,
line,
like,
this
hey,
measurement.
2.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and build the boxes.
Yeah.
It's straight lines. There's not many angles with your standard issue cabinet.
Yeah, once you have to start doing the circle for the top of the stick figure, it goes all downhill.
Circles are hard, man.
Circles are hard.
Yeah.
Sidebar, have you guys ever seen the video of that professor that, like, can draw perfect circles but on a chalkboard? He, like, uses his elbow as like, the middle point, like, doesn't move his elbow and just rotates his arm around somehow.
No, I've never seen that ever.
It's like some
pretty
physics
cool.
professor. He does it, like, perfect every time. If you just Google it, you can see it. But,
Yeah.
anywho.
I've seen SpongeBob do it too. Pretty impressive.
Yes. First, you got to draw ahead the SpongeBob method, I think, right?
Right.
You just erase the details.
Erase some of the features.
So, okay, that sounds like you have a complicated and dynamic position with Prideful Sloth. Like, personally, when I'm listening to that, that sounds stressful, but it also sounds kind of fun. Like, you might not know exactly what you're going to be doing day to day. And it's like different stuff and not the same thing all the time. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it can be a whatever's on fire or whatever's in my inbox. Sometimes it's my inbox that's on fire, so I get the 2 for 1.
Right.
But yeah, it's an interesting one because moving from working at other companies to running your own studio has been a fun dynamic. I've definitely probably learned more in my career since setting up the company than I probably did for my entire career otherwise. It's not to say that those jobs didn't help set me up to do this, but definitely I feel like I've learned more in the past, God, how long? 8 years? We've been up 8 years? I'm trying to figure this out. I think it's 8 years as a company now, so I've definitely taking on and learning more.
Very cool. Is there anything particularly, like any aspect you really don't like about about your job? Like, I should say, besides having to talk to annoying, podcast hosts and things like that. But
I know this is the easy stuff. I actually have the most. So this probably says so much about what I deal with. I actually had this nightmare, and I feel like it's probably if I end up in hell. It's probably my layer of hell that I'll end up in, and I'm stuck on a cruise ship, and I keep getting unlimited emails from my accountant telling me everything's urgent and I need to respond immediately. So,
Oh, that's the worst.
and so, I mean, I don't. My take is that I don't like cruise ships to begin with, but then my accountant's yelling at me to do all the things, so that pretty much sums up, I think.
I totally
accountant.
get it. Atrax, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, so you've been with the company for a while. What did you do for the other games, Grow and Yonder? Did you have any part in the development of those too?
Oh yeah. I'm one of the directors. I'm one of the founders of the company. So I've been here since the start. Yonder kind of started out as a brain baby of mine that I worked with one of the other directors, Joel, on to figure out what that was, and started prototyping that, and then got it far enough that decided to set up the company and actually start making the game. So there was that, and then John, our third director, came on for that project after that was funded, and then Grow was a little bit more segmented design-wise because it was a much bigger game. I couldn't hold on to kind of all of it. But at the end of the day, Grow I got to do a little bit more writing on as well too, which was a interesting one for me. I hadn't really considered myself a writer in the past, so that was kind of fun. Again, couldn't do it all myself, don't get me wrong. We had a wonderful helper, Lee May, who did a lot of it. But so taking on some of the narrative design was an interesting challenge there. So yeah, I've worked on all of them.
Now,
Nice.
how is Grow and Yonder different than Go-Go Town?
Oh, very different. So Yonder, I guess Grow was a natural sort of iteration on Yonder in a lot of ways in terms of the types of mechanics people wanted when they played Yonder. They wanted to build, tried out the relationship side, those sorts of things, but still kept sort of the nice, beautiful environment and sort of, I guess, in an unintentionally eco-friendly message. We're not really out here trying to say we're going to save the planet, but at the same time, I do like animals and I do want to keep them around, so those messages sort of always come into the games, I guess. Where Go-Go Town it's nice because it's a break for us in terms of getting out of the same mechanics, if you will, and taking kind of a breather, which we all needed after 7 years of development on those games. And we've taken the same concepts still. You're building, you're doing these things, but we wanted to modernize the setting. We wanted to make sure it's playful. It doesn't take itself as seriously, but there's still the nice message underneath, which is, building up a town and being a good person and making things better. So,
Absolutely.
Well, I remember the first time I saw trash on the ground, and I was like, wait a minute. Why is there trash on the ground? And chat was like, you need to figure out how to clean it up. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then you realize that you have to hire somebody essentially to pick up the trash. And then everybody's happy again.
yep.
Yeah,
that's
Or they get really sick if there's too much trash. I think I saw a video on YouTube where somebody had posted, I left trash on the ground and this is what happened to my town. So there's a bit of the harkening back to the fun, I call them the fun, playful sims, like, theme park where people will get sick and they will throw up. And so.
Very cool. Since we're talking about the game, I wanted to ask, how would you describe, like, if somebody has no idea what Go-Go Town is, how would you describe Go-Go Town?
It's a tycoon sim mixed with a life sim set in modern day, really. That's
Very
kind of
cool.
my super short version.
It's a cross of Animal Crossing, Roller Coaster Tycoon,
Sims, kind of.
Sims. If all three of them had a baby, it's Go-Go Town.
Yeah.
And there's a little sprinkling of, like, I guess a Factorio in there as well too. A little bit of automation in there. So
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. I wanted to ask, where did, like, the art style come from? I mean, obviously you have an art team at the studio, but
So a lot of that's from our creative director Joel, and he's kind of perfected, I guess, working on art in that sort of style, because it's, he's been directing Yonder and Grow as well, but also some of the constraints in terms of what our art style looks like is making sure that our game, when we get to it, will actually run on the Switch. So
Okay.
we always factor in the limitations. So it's not. It's a bit, because it's a nice art style and looks good, but it's partially just it's not the highest poly thing you're going to find, because at the end of the day, at some point, we're going to need to make it run on the Switch.
Right.
What will it release on?
So we don't have a release schedule yet, whether that's, to be honest, we don't know if it's going to be PC first and then platforms. We're still figuring that out. There's still time to figure out, but we will be PC and consoles. Whether it's day one, they all ship together or not, that's a question mark still. But yeah, we're a multi-platform team, so PC, consoles.
How difficult is it to create a game for multiple platforms?
It's very hard, especially sim shipping them. So with Yonder, to give an example, when we were just really the core was the three of us at that point. It took, and back when Switch was new, because that was 2018, I think it came out on Switch, 2017 PC for Yonder. It took about 5 months to get it from PC to Switch at that point, because there's a lot of technical considerations to Yonder being an open world game and things like that. So it definitely takes a bit of time, and we have really good tech teams. So between Joel and John, it takes some time to learn what that was. Grow was better, but also Grow was all platforms at launch, which was a real challenge. Sim shipping multi-platforms is great for big studios. It's a nightmare for small studios, though. It really is.
Yeah.
How many?
I can imagine.
How many people are working on Go-Go Town?
So we're 8 people, 7.5 full time. So we have 7 on the development side, and then we have our social and community manager who's part time.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of work for those 8 people.
It is a lot. I guess I call myself full time, but I'm not probably full time development. Because there's a lot of other things that I do, like getting ready for Gamescom. So I'm not developing full time, but it's still part of the process of getting a game out.
Well, I would
Absolutely.
say too, being at a convention has got to be tough too, because when people come up, like I'll use myself, when the day I came up to play, I expect that game to play and play well, and you hope that it does. So you say you may not be on the development, but you're at ground zero, because if I didn't have a great experience, would I have come back 3 times to play the game? Maybe not, right? Or when the first demo comes out, hey, you can play this game, would I have played it? So, and you're talking to thousands of people about the game. And yeah, it's loud in a convention, but there's some people that are so into it and they want to have a conversation about it. So you're almost at the top of your game at that point where, you're not developing the game in the studio, but you're promoting it so those devs can keep development going.
Yeah, it's conventions are interesting. They're great and they're fantastic, but they are also very tiring at the end of the day. Gamescom is probably the hardest one. That's 11-hour days for 5 days. So Gamescom Gamescom's going to be a pretty hard one comparatively. But again, too, it works in terms of we've got some help coming in for Gamescom, which is fantastic. We've found a couple of younger students that And just to be clear, they're paid. I want to make sure everybody understands we're not taking free work. They're paid work, and they're going to come in and help, which is amazing. So that eases some of the burden. And it was fantastic that one of the booths that were in Indie Arena booth, they actually started helping developers find and connect up with these students. So that was a big stress relief for me to get that help. So there's that side as well. But yeah, it's fantastic though, because you get to find out what really excites people about the game, and that's the thing that kind of keeps you going. But then once that conference is over and you don't have kind of that adrenaline and high, you're just like, okay, now I just want to die. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, I will 100% work for free. You get me to Germany at Gamescom for 5 days, I am in.
Whatever you need.
No pay needed.
Yeah. I make a great cappuccino.
The bigger issue is probably the cost of hotel rooms over there. That's
right.
Oh, that was, the hotel made me want to cry. It was eye-watering. But yeah. So.
Well, it's
and the flights and stuff. Well, I guess it's not bad for you guys, but.
And I'm sure the booth has a cost too.
Yeah, there's a small cost involved with the booth, but that's the booth costs are generally pretty minimal compared to the rest of it, the flights and everything else. And you say easy enough, it's 22 hours fly time for me, so it's not. We're not as close as it seems.
Wow.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that was way closer, but
well, it is for us. It's probably like an 8-hour flight for us.
Yeah. I have
22 hours.
I'm clearly bad at geography. I'm going to stick to the other sciences.
Well, so you're talking 11-hour days, 22-hour flights, time zone flops. Oh my, that's when you get back, you must just collapse.
You do, but at the same time, you kind of need to get back into it. I found I take sleeping pills. That's the thing I use to try and get through. Having said that, just to be clear, they're just basically super, super high antihistamines, so they're not like, I don't want anybody to think, oh, suddenly there's this whole Cheryl's drugging herself. But yeah, sleeping pills are one of the best ways to get through it.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And just for the record, Nick is in the medical field, and he has every drug probably in his apartment that is over the counter, ready to go. So you're
good. Pretty much. My paintball teammates make fun of me. They call me the pharmacist. Like, oh, you got an ailment? Yeah, no problem. It's probably in the car or whatever. But
just
so
take some insert here.
Right. Yes. No, my doctor actually said when I was talking about flying, I travel just within the U.S. for paintball all the time. If I ever feel jet lagged, melatonin helps with that too. Just take it like a couple hours before you want to be going to bed, and it'll sort of help reset your circadian rhythms if you're there for a while. But
yeah, they've tried a few different things. Like one time somebody gave me Valium, and that was terrible. It's like I don't need to calm.
That's too much.
I need to sleep. There's a very big difference between chilling out and just knocking out.
Right.
I want to knock out.
Yeah, and I find with benzodiazepines too. That's the drug class that Valium's in. It's like a lot of time I wake up really groggy too. Like if you take like a Benadryl or something, like any histamine too late, they just wake up like God, like extra groggy. It's terrible.
It is groggy, but at the same time, I found I have to get up and go immediately and beyond. Yeah. That'll push through any sort of fog that you get. But yeah, it is definitely, there's a grogginess and a tiredness that, it's not a miracle. It doesn't mean I wake up refreshed and happy. It just means I wake up closer to my time zone that I'm currently in.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
What would you say your favorite convention up to August 3rd, 2023 is?
I see in doing them, it makes it harder because I'm always tired afterwards, and I'm like, thank God that's done. I'm trying to think of what I enjoy. I didn't have to do as much this year at Bit Summit, so in a way that made Bit Summit quite nice. We had help there to manage. Hopefully Gamescom will be similar, having help to manage it. I I can walk away from that one and go. But you said previous. In some ways, I always like going to GDC, which isn't really convention, and that's just mainly because I get to meet up with a lot of developers. I get to meet up with business as well, and there's no booth and there's no pressure, and I can control my schedule a bit more than directly conferences, but each and every one has its own pros and cons at the end of the day. So the 22-hour flight time doesn't exactly make PAX East exciting, nor does it make Gamescom exciting.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
I believe
so
it.
there's those things, and we'll be attending PAX Australia this year. It's our first time attending, so that's nice and easy. That's like only a 2.5-hour flight, so that's great.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
I know, right?
Okay, so I've never flown. I don't like flying. I actually take Xanax for flights usually. Speaking of benzodiazepines earlier, I want to ask, what do you do to like not go crazy on a 22-hour flight? Obviously, you sleep for a chunk of it, but you can only sleep for so long.
Yeah, I fill up my so I have a tablet that I take along too, and I just fill that up with music and stuff because it's like I like to move and I like to go, I like to do things. So being stuck in a sardine can for long amounts of time really, really sucks. I try and nap during the day flights. I try and nap a bit because it's like the flight times. What is it? 9 hours to Singapore, 12 hours to Munich, and then 2 hours to Cologne. So just to give an idea, and the day flight will be 9 hours. And so, I just try and take a lot of entertainment, try and nap a little, because even if I sleep on the plane, there's never you don't sleep well on planes, regardless of if you sleep. It's a pretty, so I'll try and get a little bit of sleep in before then. Take games, because I don't know, I don't really get into watching movies on planes. Some people are just like, I will watch all the movies, and then, I don't know, I can't. So I guess I like to jump around too much, so I'll have a game, or I'll do some reading, I'll close my eyes, and then I'll pick up a thing and fiddle again. And
So you go on the plane.
I try to keep myself busy in a lot of different ways, and then sleep. So
makes sense. I have never flown on a plane for more than like 5 or 6 hours, but I usually alternate between like a movie and like a game or something. I like to do one and then the other for that chunk of time, or catch a nap if possible.
Yep.
But
17 was the longest flight I've taken. 17 hours.
Where was that to?
To Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atrax is on the west coast of the U.S.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so we went up to Vancouver, BC, and then came like over down to Sydney.
So that was 17 combined, right? Not in one flight? Or was it 17?
I think it was like 15, 16 hours from Vancouver to Sydney. And then from Portland to Vancouver was like 2 or something like that. So it was pretty quick.
Oh, so are you based in Portland, are you?
Yep.
I grew up in a small town outside of Salem, so there you go.
Oh, nice. West Coast, let's go. Best Coast.
Very
No,
cool.
it's not.
Yes, it is. That's awesome.
It's not the best coast, but I was going to say your accent is not super thick. I was having trouble placing where you're from.
Yeah, I've been over here for a long time, but my accent just never disappeared. So
I
actually some mid-ground accent going on.
Right.
I actually heard a podcast and they were talking about accents, and they said that if you grow up in a place and you leave that place and move somewhere before you're 11, your accent is like a home dialect. But if you move there when you're 13 and on, your accent always sounds like you're an outsider you didn't grow up there. It's something about like the way your brain works, I guess. I don't know.
Having said that,
yeah.
though, I have a couple of friends that I would say have bucked that trend. They, during GSC collapse over here, some of the friends that we worked with moved over to places like Canada. And I ran into one of them recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you sound so Canadian now. So and I obviously have friends who've bucked that trend, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been told too. Is if you move as an adult, you're kind of locked into the accent. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Marcus, I think you're conflating that with a little bit different scientific facts. I listened to that podcast too. What they were talking about, that was, I believe, a Joe Rogan episode with Gad Sad, talking about language acquisition, if learning a new language. So if you learn, basically they're saying if you try to learn a new language after puberty, you will always have an accent in the new language because you actually lose like brain structure that's responsible for new language acquisition as you get older.
It was
like
the
a
same
golden
thing I was
window
saying.
when you're younger. No, but you're talking about an accent within the same language. That was talking about acquiring a new language. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Speaking with an accent in a new language. But
Tomato,
you
tomato.
you can kick for Joe Rogan, for example. He used to have a crazy Boston accent. He doesn't have that anymore. So you can kick your accent, but you have to like really actively work at it. Or you can like accidentally sound Canadian if you live there long enough.
Hey. Who
Go
is
ahead.
your favorite Star Wars character?
Well, I have to say, I think, having worked on a couple of the Star Wars games as well, too, I'm going to go for Ahsoka. So,
Okay.
Ooh, great call.
Great choice.
And follow up,
She's
what Star Wars games?
Did you work on? Yeah, what? You can't just drop that bomb.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoa.
geez. Well, they're not good ones. Shh, don't tell anybody. No, I worked on Lightsaber Duels, Clone Wars. What was the full title? Clone Wars, Republic Heroes, Lightsaber Duels, I think. That was a Wii game. And then Clone Wars, Republic Heroes.
Republic Commando?
No.
Was it another Wii game?
No, it was multi-platform. Star Wars, Clone Wars. I feel like it was Republic Heroes. They were under Chrome Studios. So that was in my pre-GSC days. So yeah, I worked on a few of them, but she's kind of fun and sassy. I liked her.
Cool.
That's a great answer.
No, Ahsoka's a great. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think I played this game, the Republic Heroes one, way
Republic
back in the
Heroes and just
Yeah.
the regular Star Wars Clone Wars game?
So I worked on the Wii lightsaber one, and then I think it is, like you said, Star Wars Clone Wars Republic Heroes is the full title for that one. But yeah, lightsaber. I did some work on lightsaber duels. It wasn't my full time. I was mainly on Republic Heroes at that stage, but I did help out on the lightsaber duels. So
day. Well, that's cool.
That's awesome.
We're big Star Wars fans. If you couldn't tell from the backdrops, like
Yeah.
Marcus's art, and then mine as well. I know Atrax has stuff behind him too. I just don't know what precisely to point to.
None of it is Star Wars, unfortunately.
No, you do have Star Wars swag though, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yep.
I've been really curious about this myself. Where did the name Go-Go Town come from?
we just put it out to staff and everybody, just saying, "Cool, let's all come up with a name," and it came out of one of the staff here as a front runner, and it's just fun. It's it's kind of a fun, perky name, and we did rounds of voting on different names, and that's the one that everybody just sort of seemed to gravitate towards. So I don't actually know where it came from for him, other than it's playful and he enjoyed it, so he decided he liked the sound and the length. And so this is what happens when we let other people come up with names for our games. We don't suddenly have colons and really long titles for them.
Right.
Nice and short
There
now.
it is.
No, that's good. I like it. It's simple. It's like I feel like it's easy to understand in like different languages too, or different cultures.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to I have to find some time, because I should try Grow and Yonder, because I've never played them. I should try them to see, like, when we finally get Go-Go Town, to see the inspirations that transfer over, but where it's different
Yeah.
in how the game plays. I gotta do that.
Well, I
I
can
bought
probably
them. I
pick you
haven't
up with
played them yet.
PC keys if you message me, remind me about it. I don't have very many console keys for Grow, unfortunately, but I think we have some PC keys still.
We're all PC gamers here.
We're all
Yep.
Okay.
PC gamers for sure.
The PC master race.
Yes.
Yep.
I do own a PS5, but I don't. It just collects dust. Speaking of the name of things, where did the studio's name come from? Prideful Sloth.
It was basically a conversation that came up well before studio, as you know, friends do talk, and it's like, what sin would you be if you picked one?
Okay.
And someone was Pride, and mine was Sloth. I'm the Sloth if you ever.
That's funny.
And then, you try and come up with all these names for companies and trying to name it, and company names are hard, and then we just kind of defaulted back to the, because it was originally like the two of us that founded it, Prideful Sloth. We just went for the two sins, Prideful Sloth, and then John came on board, and he was just stuck with the company name that we had already given him.
Right.
Yeah.
What year
cool.
was the studio started?
I think it was 2017. It's been like 8 years now. I think it was 2017. You asked me this, and I'm like, I had to go and Google my own company date, and so if it's more than 3 months old, I don't remember anything anymore. So, but yeah, I have to Google
Fair
it. But I'm
enough.
pretty certain. I think it was 2017. So.
Oh, that's
Very
great.
All right.
That's a lot of stuff to be done in a short period of time.
Yeah. 3 games.
I know.
Well-
That's a lot.
2 and 1 in development.
Yeah. 2 3/4 or
Yeah.
8/10.
8/10.
2 in a
that's
super early,
4/5.
awesome pre-alpha.
Right. So we mentioned some other games earlier that like you could kind of combine together like pieces of Play-Doh of different colors to make Go-Go Town. But like what are some works, I guess that those definitely are influential, but I want to ask what are some works that went into Go-Go Town that might have been like inspirational or sort of influential of like, ooh, I like a piece of this and a piece of that. I don't know if that was in your thought process, your team's thought process at all.
So with Go-Go Town, the original idea sort of came from me being able to get a break from everything after Grow shipped and clear my brain and sit down and start playing games again for the first time in 3 years. And I started looking at other games. Now I sort of sit in the life sim, farm sim genres. Those are my jam. I love them. Give me those repetitive tasks, baby. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sort of looking and starting to realize what they do and don't allow you to do and how, just playing them and going, I don't, and this is every farm game, ever. It's like, basically, town never changes. There's nothing, the towns are always the same. There's very little you can do as a player to change anything going on in the world outside. I know some of the old stories. There was one Story Seasons game, at least I remember Harvest Moon, where you could edit and place decorations and do a few things. But for the most part, past that, that's it. That's all you can do in town. Everybody, and it's like, started asking myself really stupid, dumb questions like, I've grown this pumpkin. Why do I put it in the shipping box and it disappears? Why can't I just take it the next screen over to town and sell it? Why am I not, why can't I do this? And just starting to ask myself really dumb questions about these games and go, why can't I do X and Y? So that was sort of once I started to think those through and decide and go, actually, I have this great idea. I want to take and do this, but I want to do these things instead. And started talking amongst the directors and going through it and working it out and sort of proving it and pitching it amongst ourselves over time. So I took it first to Joel, who I tend to use as creative director as a sounding board, and then worked through that. We pitched it with some roughing, he's good at the translating of my ideas because I'm not a designer by trade, so sometimes they don't necessarily communicate in the best terms for design. So he translates, he's my translator, the Cheryl translator. Also worked out some of the holes that I couldn't figure out with the idea. We took that to John, pitched it to him. He added more into it, and then we took it to the team and we pitched it to them, and they've been able to add their own mix into it. So it's been a collaborative effort from an idea down to what it is. Everybody's had, their ability to put something into it now. So there's that. But I guess in terms of other influences outside of the farming genres and wanting to flip them, there's a anime that I've always really liked called Sakura Quest, which is basically literally building up an old town with old people. And it's one that I've always loved, and I always thought would make a fantastic sort of setting for a world. And so that's always been in there, and I was like, this is the perfect time for me to take that anime and shove it into a game. So yeah, we get to do both.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I didn't expect you to say an anime. That's cool. I don't know why. Like it makes perfect sense to me, but
complete and total sidebar. There's a new trailer for the new Castlevania season coming. It's just anime, and I can't wait for it. It's so good.
Yeah. That's Marcus's favorite game of all time. Speaking of which, what is your favorite game of all time?
Oh God.
You can opt for a Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of favorite games, or like a top few.
It's hard because it's hard to say that there's one that I think is my favorite of all times. I know that's such a phone it in answer, but it's that weird one where I guess I just get sort of different itches need to be scratched at different times. I want to build, I want to do this, I want to do that, and so ultimately, I sort of circle around a number of different games over time because I have different game itches that I want to do, and sometimes they are just literally farming games. I would Pokemon. I don't mind a bit of combat. There's the Pokemon side of it. Again, Harvest Moon. Story Seasons is definitely the farm game itch. Then Animal Crossing is always. I've played Animal Crossing since the beginning, so as much as I don't consider myself series fans, there are still series that, as a whole, I've kind of just followed through since I've discovered them. But then also, I guess, my personal early influences would have been the original Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
I loved OG Baldur's Gate games. I loved, I loved everything that BioWare was doing back in the day. So,
yeah.
And Baldur's Gate 3 just released today, I think.
Yes, we have some people very excited in the office about it, too.
But hearing you say your favorite game is multiple and it's hard for you to pick because of the itch, that reminds me so much of Atrax, because Atrax plays a lot of different games, where I play one, maybe two, and if I can sneak in a third, great. Nick, same way. But
I have like two styles. I have like an RPG and then like a Call of Duty, essentially. Are my two.
Yeah.
Two totally different itches to be scratched, like you were saying. But
Atrax is
I play
the million
literally
game.
Everything.
Yes.
yeah.
It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what genre. I'll play it.
If it's a game, it gets run on Atrax's PC.
Yeah. If it's quality, if it's a quality made game, great. Sign me up. I'll pay your money. Just give me the game.
Let's do it.
Let's play.
Speaking of things we like, well, I think you already answered this, but what is your favorite thing to do in game? Or have you played it a little bit yet? I know it's still sort of a work in progress.
In terms of like any game or Go-Go Town?
No,
Go-Go
sorry.
Town.
Circling back to Go-Go Town specifically, yes. What's your favorite thing to do in Go-Go Town?
Oh gosh, I actually like making planks. I love
Planks?
I love doing the forestry and the mining.
That's,
So mundane.
didn't you-
It's like like, I could sit there for like until all the trees and rocks are gone, and I'm just like, I'm at my happy place. I mean, as much as I talk about the environmental messages and we like things good, I'm like, what do you like to do? Deforestation. Thank you.
I think you guys did the same thing though. You just like chopping all the trees down, right?
Yeah, that's
one
what
of
I
you
did.
two did. I think,
But
yeah, okay.
so that
In
was
every
my
game I can.
right.
yeah. That was my second favorite thing in the game.
Okay.
My favorite thing in the game, hands down, the bicycle with the bell. So when I found so I was like the little kid in a candy store.
Cycle?
No, it was a bicycle. It was a regular bicycle. I didn't. The tricycle came later for me.
Okay.
But I was walking around and I was at PAX, and I was like immersed into this game because this is not my genre at all.
No, yeah.
And then I felt like I couldn't stop playing it, and then I was bebopping over, and then I'm like, "There's a bike," and I kind of stopped, and Cheryl's like, "You can ride it." I'm like, "What?" You can ride the bike, and I started riding the bike. I think I legit rode the bike for 10 minutes, beeping the little bike bell, and it sounds just like the bell that's on my bike. And I'm like, oh my god! And that was, for me, that was my top favorite thing to do. Like chopping the trees is awesome because the chainsaw and the noises, the sound design is amazing. But
Yeah.
the big one for me was riding the bike.
Ring ring. I can see you just being amused
What about-
and chuckling to yourself
Yeah.
for 10 minutes.
Dude,
Right.
I couldn't believe that I fell in love with the game because it is completely out of my wheelhouse. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am MMO gamer, first person shooter, MMO gamer. Like, and this is completely not that. And
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I'm in love with it. But Atrax, what was your favorite part, or what is your favorite part of Go-Go Town?
I also like the wood cutting, but getting like the go nut trees and just collecting an insane amount of donuts and then stockpiling them in the shop and then getting
Yeah.
more and then stockpiling them in the shop. Also, you can. I think it's chicken or is it waffles? You can make one of the two.
You can make waffles.
Is it waffles? I think it's waffles.
You can make chicken too.
Anyway, both of those is always great
Oh, yeah.
because it memes Marcus.
yeah.
But
Go ahead.
The fact, what I'm really blown away by is you guys have put so much, and it's still in early development, but you guys have put so many different things in it. Fishing, farming.
Like
you have to
developing the town, of course. Yeah.
Yes, there's courier service, and you have
Right.
to hire the guy, and the guy's name, all the characters have funny names, and you got Wolfman, and I forget what his name was. His name Ruff? I can't remember. What's the wolf's name?
There's a few of them in there. Oh man,
One of the robots is Rusty. I know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Rusty.
I remember
Yeah,
that
Rusty. And then
Good old Rusty.
a little, and then the music is unbelievable. That has been in the game, and I'm going to follow up because are you guys going to create your own soundtrack for the game so that you don't get a chance of DCMA on Twitch?
So we're not going to do our own soundtrack, mainly because all the artists are these are already existing tracks that are out there for everybody to grab. What I am hoping to do, though, is at least set up like a channel in Discord at some point and get their songs in and do like a good playlist for it, because that was the aim in doing this. We wanted to highlight independent artists and look for people
Sure.
out there. So we are, as you do note, though, we are actually in the process of trying to license some good royalty-free music, so you can have a soundtrack for streamers as well too. So
That's gonna be
that
great.
is on there, because losing music completely was really hard. But it's just this weird mid-ground with wanting to make sure the artists can protect their music, and which we do support. and it already having been, it's not even the artist's fault themselves. It's the way the registration works. It makes it really hard. There's no sort of easy sort of cool, we'll register this game has this content ID, and this content ID can be run at any point, because they're happy for people to, when they license to the game, they're happy for it to work. But the system around protecting music is just so complex and painful that unintentionally these happen, and the artists themselves would have to go and unmark every single strike against them for the music, because it's legitimate. And so the whole process, I feel bad for the music side of just how tedious and cumbersome the whole thing is. So we're looking at some royalty-free music that should still fit in vein with it. The trailer that we did for Wholesome Games, that was actually royalty-free music, and that still fit really well with the vibe. So that's kind of what we're looking more into. So
nice.
When you were saying you would do a separate track of royalty-free music for streamers and things, what would that be, like a checkbox in the settings, the audio settings or something?
Yeah, so there's a streamer setting in there now, which just basically outright turns off the music just to protect people. But what that would work is more of a whitelist. So when they turn streamer mode on, that would play only royalty-free music and turn off anything that is copyrighted. So
very cool. That's convenient. Our next question for you is a little bit in the same flavor as the Star Wars question, but no pun intended with flavor there. But so
it's also the most important question that we're going to ask tonight.
It is the most important question of all of the interview questions and all of the working class questions. And that's because there are many, 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 many right answers, many great answers even. But there is one very wrong answer that you could choose, and that means you're a psychopath, and we have to end the show immediately.
Yep, show's over.
The question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oddly enough, it's probably God, I'm gonna sound so bougie saying this now, aren't I? It's actually gelato, and I fell in love with it. I'm probably gonna say it wrong. Nutella, which is hazelnut.
Oh yeah, Nutella.
Oh yeah.
I fell in love with that when we were in Italy, and so yes,
very nice.
That's a great choice.
It's fantastic. I really liked it. So, that's my bougie answer.
Yeah, but that's a great anscer.
That's a great answer.
That's perfect.
Because there's only one wrong answer.
Right. The wrong answer. Yeah, we've had two people say it. The wrong answer is no, pistachio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like, I get it. See, that face of, I kind of like pistachio. That's fine. It's fine to like pistachio. I understand that. I don't like pistachio, but I can wrap my head around that. But what makes you a psychopath is if you pick pistachio out of all the flavors of ice cream that exist in the whole universe. That's your number one favorite? Gotta go. The show's over.
Yep. Later. It was nice having you.
Yep. Thank you for your time. Click. No. So obviously we do that with every guest on the show. We also wanted to ask, well, I think we talked about this already. I feel like I've said that for like 3 questions now.
Yes.
But we were going to say, we wanted to ask what makes this game special, but I think we talked about how it takes, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but it takes a lot of pieces from other games and does more with it, like, essentially. It does more with games in the same genre. More than other games in the same genre. I'm not doing that justice.
No. What is the release date for the game?
We have 2024, and the thing is the best one is nobody can catch me out on this answer because I don't know the date yet. It's not like we have a super secret date sitting in the background yet. We just know 2024. That is a hill we will die on. 2024.
Okay.
But past that, I don't know because we're going through the play tests and working out what people want as well too. And so as we figure that out, and we feel like we've hit a nice ground as to where the game is scratching other people's itches, if you will, for lack of a better word. That's the point at which we'll start talking about releases. It's great. It's because I don't know, and so I can never catch myself out on saying that.
What would you say the percentage of the game development is done? for the game?
So, I mean, I look at you say that, and then I'm like, a lot of the core systems are there, and then my mind goes to our planning session we did recently, and all the things on the backlog.
Yeah,
the backlog wall is big. It doesn't mean that we'll necessarily even consider needing to go out with every single one of those items, but we did after this last play test. We took a week, and not necessarily a week, but during one of the weeks we sat down and we just blatted out all the features, all the things we want to do, all the things that we think can add to the excitement and joy, and they're now all on the wall, and I'm certain we'll come up with more, or as the playtests go, other people will, and so that list will get longer and longer rather than shorter and shorter. So there's a lot we still want to do. We just need to figure out when we're doing it. Is that for release? Is that post-release content? And what does release mean? Is release a full release? Is it multi-platforms? Is it PC only? Is it early access? Those are all still questions we don't necessarily have the answers to yet. So,
right.
Will there be co-op in the game?
We have said there will be. Yes, absolutely. Again, co-op and multiplayer. Co-op is something that is going to come in before multiplayer will in terms of our schedule. Co-op's definitely a little bit easier, but also the other reason co-op becomes more important is it fits with the family-friendly play, which is great. So, couch co-op side, and also it becomes much more performant, and therefore Switch is something we need to take into account for that. So that's definitely got a higher priority over just networked multiplayer. So where everything falls in line, we don't have all those sorted, but yeah, definitely co-op is a big one that'll come in sooner for a number of reasons.
Well, I am super excited because it's my favorite time of the show. It's time for Working Class Questions.
It's Working Class Questions!
I'll start it off. So Rigamorty asks...
These are meant to be sort of rapid fire, by the way, not like long form. Yeah.
Very excited about...
Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's completely fine, Nick. No problem. Very excited about Go-Go Town. My question is, what are your top beginner tips, and which shop is your favorite to build?
So my top beginner tips are just go and make planks and bricks.
Don't bother with anything
go
else.
Make planks and bricks. But also because you can just shove them in the truck. I think people miss vehicles early on being super, super useful, and the truck is amazing because you can just load it up with so much. So I just basically use my truck as my portable construction thing. So I just make a heap of planks and bricks, shove them in the truck, and then I just park my truck in the middle of town, and I'm like, right, here's my portable building supply station. So that's my personal tip on that side. And what was the other part of that? Sorry?
What's your favorite business? Or sorry, favorite shop to build?
Shop.
My favorite shop, I actually like the early shops in terms of the one that just does the pet rocks. That's my favorite early shop. Pet rocks are just they're so absurd. I love them.
That's great.
I'll never... So my sidebar here, and I'll remember when I first played and they said, oh, you can do... It was pet rocks, or what was the other option?
There was trinkets, the wood trinkets.
Yes, trinkets or pet rocks, and immediately it had to be pet rocks because
Right.
I think every child at some point in their life made a pet rock.
Right.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Your mom's like, great. Yep, keep that in your room. That's the pet you can have. We're not getting a puppy.
Yeah, we're not getting a puppy.
Sophie asks, do different people have different pros and cons so that you can build an ideal crew for the different businesses?
So there is something that we are looking into with stats on them. Currently, the answer is no, they do not. But we do want more depth to come into play, and that's one of those systems that, like I said, is kind of in that we want it before we launch, and we want to figure out how that's going to work exactly. So in time, we definitely want to go a little bit more in the it's the trade-off, though, too, on that side of what pros and cons we give them versus... Basically, we don't want to make you feel like you're forced to go down a single path. We never want to set it so that you can't have Rusty working in whatever shop you want him in. And so that's the trade-off that we need to find, is where those pros and cons sit on that scale of making sure you can build the town you want.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You couldn't have a robot doing fishing or something.
Absolutely.
Get them all soaking wet.
Exactly, and maybe that's just a thing of he gets a raincoat, or whatever, or some
Right,
waterproof
yeah.
party. I don't know.
Let's just be honest here. If Rusty gets a raincoat, he's gonna be my man. Like a robot
Rusty
in a
with a
raincoat. Yes, exactly. I am in.
Ray wants to know, what would you like to see in the game?
What would I like to see?
Besides Rusty in a raincoat, obviously.
Yeah.
And besides more farming and more mining and clear cutting of trees.
More
my favorite
forest to
stuff
cut down.
I want to see. I think my thing is what I really want to see is when we start getting into the proper introduction of all the elder people in the game. I want to see them moving around town and like their oldie mobiles, like their little scooters and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Very slow, and I want to see that side of it too. And I have the other one on my list is NPCs driving. So we have the workers and couriers, but I want to see the town getting into cars and stuff like that too, and I want to see it be very busy. So I'm looking so forward to when NPCs in general start moving around in vehicles. I think it's going to be chaotic and fun.
That does sound fun.
Nick and Atrax, what would you two like to see in the game?
It's a good question.
I wonder, it'd be cool if you could like start a food fight somehow. In like a cafeteria shop or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you can how that would work. That's probably terrible for the developers going, don't put the idea in Cheryl's head.
Or like being able to like throw trash at people.
Right, and it would just be like bonk.
Yeah. Like how when you drive past or like through somebody now, it kind of throws them away. Maybe it just like Nick says, it bounces off their head or something. Get on that.
Well, just it's something you said, Atrax, before you answer what you want in the game. It would be cool if like an one out of every 100 NPC just is walking down the street and sees a piece of trash and picks it up, and it's like, why are you littering, and throws it away. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah,
not
there
a
you
worker.
go.
Just a random NPC. But
There you go.
Atrax, what do you want to see in the game?
Since we have skateboards and bikes and cars and whatnot, I want at least like one sort of ramp that I can just send my character off into a pool of water or across something.
After the planks you make, you can build a skateboard ramp.
Right. Well, see, that would, Oh, there you go. You could build a skateboard ramp, or just you use the planks as extra weight to get you down the hill or something.
Or even, I feel like you could like, just make like a half pipe and be like, and you just do the animation of going back and forth for whatever amount of time you want.
Yeah,
you guys know we're ruining this game, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you got the DDR, right? So you could do a half pipe. Absolutely.
2025 is looking a little more reasonable than 2024 now.
And thanks, guys, for asking me. What I would like to see in the game is two things. One is a selfish answer, and two is a real answer. The selfish answer is I would love to be able to build a podcast studio.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And have people like Radio Go-Go. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just
Go-Go Radio.
But honestly, what I would really like to be able to do is I would like to be able to build like a custom house. Like your own home. Like pick the color of the house, pick the roof, pick all that stuff. I think that would be awesome. Like your home. Like obviously the town that's pre-built, we'll call it. But like your own house, custom color, because it's yours and you want to make it your own. Do you want grids in your windows or no grids in your windows?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Ray also asks, only for Cheryl because we don't care about the working class nerds answer. What was your favorite part of attending PAX?
Honestly, it was fantastic. Just, this is such a generic answer, and so I do apologize, but it was fantastic just to see the reception that we got to the game. And that was because for us, we had literally been working on the game for a year at that stage, and it was way earlier than we'd normally show a game. And to be fair, we were all kind of, we were all very nervous about the reception we would get because we're like, oh, it's early, and is it good enough? And so taking it and seeing people love it, that was really fantastic. I mean, obviously there's the moments where, you know, we saw some of the kids driving around and then they realized they could hit people with cars, and so they just spent like the next 10 minutes running over people, and their parents are just sitting there with a horrified look on their face, and we're like, what is my child doing? I'm sorry for this. And it's like, nah, it's good. That's fine. So yeah. Just watching everybody play with it so differently and engage with it differently was fantastic.
I bet. That's awesome. Marcus, what's the next question?
From Handsome Host 28, question for Cheryl. Could you please ask Marcus how he chose a chicken as the mascot on his family's formal coat of arms? This is what they do. It's just...
What an awesome username. I wonder who that was.
It was me.
So Marcus, I believe we have to go. We have to do this, right? Isn't this the rules? Why
Absolutely.
did you choose a chicken on the family coat of arms?
I did not. I did not choose that. The community chose that. I am not a chicken fan. I like to eat chicken and eat the eggs, but the animals themselves, no thanks. It's
I like the feathery dinosaurs, personally.
I
don't like them in my
them.
house, but
yeah, I don't like
if they're
taking care of them.
if they're outside in their own coop, like, yeah, sure, I'll go get the eggs or whatever. But
Yeah,
but anyways,
just
in
for
the
the
same
record.
line-
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Goldie wants to know, what's your opinion on chickens?
Oh my god,
I think it's mostly for Cheryl because we know
Right,
Marcus
yeah.
clearly.
I was like, is this for Marcus as well?
It's for
No,
all
that-
of us, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, chickens are great. They provide a great service. I mean, really, let's be fair. You know, cakes and things like that. I mean, you can make them without eggs, totally. But, you know, there's a lot of things, let's say a meringue, that maybe wouldn't be as meringue if you use the aquafaba for it instead of an egg. So
Yeah.
chickens provide a great service.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Just for the record, community, you know who you are. I'm not happy right now.
Hey, Nick, who asks our next questions?
Oh, the next question's from Doritos. I'll do a little shorter one than usual for the sake of Cheryl's ears, but most of these rapid fire questions are for Cheryl. So why are sloths so awesome is the first one.
I mean, they're super slow and amazing, and, you know, they nearly die every time they do anything, basically, and they look like nightmare fuel when they're wet. So, I mean, like, they're just the whole package, really, right? I mean...
There you go.
Actually, did you see? I saw IGN posted on their Instagram that they made a, like, sloth horror movie. Did you see that?
Yep.
Where the slow-moving sloth, like, is what kills you?
Yep.
I thought-
Slaughterhouse.
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 Yes, and I loved the shot where the sloths are just hanging out with all the stuffed toys, just sitting in the
Yes.
background. That was amazing. So yes, very aware.
That was awesome. What makes... Oh, also from Doritos, what makes a prideful sloth? I mean, this is a play on the name, obviously, but...
A top hat and a monocle, and a smirk on its face.
Perfect.
That is prideful.
Also for Cheryl,
That was
what?
a great answer.
That was an
That's
excellent
awesome.
answer. What was your first impression of Marcus? If you can recall meeting him at PAX. Or
I
I
just
guess,
looked
or
at him.
after the fact.
I just looked at him and thought he just doesn't look like a guy who likes chickens enough.
Yes! Yes! Outstanding answer.
Oh man, that's wonderful.
What 3 pieces of advice would you give kids who think they want to pursue a career in game art or design? What 3 pieces of advice would you give them?
Don't, and don't.
That's some good advice.
Yeah, we get asked this a lot, and look, I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I would never recommend it to anybody else ever either. I think game development takes... there's so many people who want to do it, and I understand why, but it's also a really, really hard career. There's lots of layoffs, there's lots of long hours, there's, it's nowhere near the, cool, exciting, I get to play games all day that people think it is. So, I mean, if people don't want to listen to the don't 3 times, then I guess my next ones would be make sure whatever you're doing, you have a skill set that's outside of games, because you will need to go in and out of games. It's hard to keep it as a career for your entire lifetime. And third is, just accept that's, understand the industry and what it is for better or worse, and be prepared for any disaster possible.
That's great advice.
Great advice, yeah.
Also from Doritos, rank the following: waffles, pancakes, and French toast.
Well, I mean, it has to be waffles just purely because chicken and waffles exist. I mean, like...
Right.
Is this for real?
Chicken and waffles, like, come on, why would that not make waffles the most amazing thing on the planet? And then I don't know, man. Like, pancakes feels like it should be second, but it's also that thing of some people can really mess up a good pancake very quickly. And It's hard. I feel like in a way it's almost harder to mess up French toast. So I don't know. I mean, an outstanding pancake is second, but a terrible pancake is not good, and that would put French toast above it. So the kind of, yeah, but definitely waffles, number 1.
It's a great answer.
Right.
I feel the same way. Waffles, French toast, pancakes, in that order.
Yeah.
Atrax, what's our next one from Doritos?
Does pineapple belong on pizza? And yes, the community will judge this very critically. Whatever your answer is.
I am the reason why in Grow we have we call them the gross biomes, and somebody was asked what would be great, what's gross, and I said pineapple on pizza. And so there's now pineapple on pizza in the gross biomes in Grow because of that answer.
Yeah, that's just a terrible
I love
answer.
pineapple.
Guess I'm not playing that game.
I love pineapple, but it just does not belong on my pizza.
See, that's my exact opinion. For the record, these two feel differently.
Yeah,
I'm just blown away by all of this. This is just this thing was up here, and it's starting to go downhill.
I think I know the answer to this next question.
So, Doritos also asks, will there be a chicken costume for your avatar to wear in Go-Go Town?
I don't see why we couldn't. We don't have one currently, but I mean, if we can have the hot dog head, I don't see why we couldn't have the chicken head.
Excellent.
I vote no chicken head. I'm just gonna say, because now if there's a chicken head, I'm gonna know it's because of me, and it's gonna eat me up every day.
My goal is to get the Prideful Sloth Discord now to want a chicken costume. That's all I gotta do.
Exactly.
Please don't. Like, we don't need a chicken costume.
Yes, we do.
You gotta start subtly. Hey, do you think we can get a chicken costume in there? Just log in as, Handsome Host 28 or whatever.
I feel like it's a trade-off. If we can get you Rusty in a raincoat, can we have a chicken?
I'll deal with Rusty without a raincoat, okay?
Wow.
Now the community is down 2 awesome things: a chicken costume and Rusty in a raincoat.
Now for sure, if there ends up being a chicken costume in this game, it is because of you guys. And this is a meme towards me. I'm just saying this. I don't care what you say. This is not okay.
Moving on.
You heard
Marcus,
it here, nerds. You got to do it.
Will there be chicken farming in Go-Go Town?
There's already chicken farming. There's the little chicken coops that you can put down, and the chicken
You can
goes
do
around. So it's already there.
Perfect.
Thank God Wargus is going to have some good questions. Wargus asks, what is your favorite game genre?
That's a hard one, because that's what we were talking about before, in a way, is that I don't really have a specific sort of thing I sit down. I guess ultimately, if I had to pick one, most of the games I do end up playing sit probably in life sim genre.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's great. It's
I
a
would
good
do
genre.
Single player action RPG. But I get it.
I'm going to round us off. If you were awarded unlimited money and resources to design your ultimate game, what would it be?
All the games we've made, I like them. I mean,
Nice.
They may not be for everybody, but a lot of them stem from me asking questions and trying to figure out ways to work within the types of, just figure out. I love certain games, but they don't allow me the freedom to do things that I want to do, and so we take different approaches with each game. Yonder's different to Grow as Go-Go Town, but they each sort of try and find ways to do that. But for me, I definitely love Go-Go Town right now because I love building. I love games that allow me to build, and so it's fantastic. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm making the game that I want to play, so I don't feel like I need unlimited money.
Marcus tried to
I'd like
hide
unlimited
this.
money, but I'd like unlimited money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have to ask. Marcus tried to hide this. Why is Prideful Sloth's next game Chicken Simulator?
Well, it's amazing that it got leaked here first.
Damn it!
I mean, we may need to just cut this out because we may need to cut this part
Top
out because I
secret.
wouldn't want this to go and break the internet because I know everybody will want to play Chicken Simulator. But let's be fair. Who didn't play Goat Simulator and go ask the question, why can't I be a chicken?
Oh, that is a great answer.
Fantastic answer. 10 out of 10.
Yep.
All right. Last question for the evening. Where can everybody find you and your work?
I mean, in terms of like socials.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah?
What do you want the people to know?
I mean, they can go to the company stuff. Definitely not mine. I don't live on the internet. I try and keep that side of. I try and basically the company's up there, Go-Go Town's up there, but Cheryl does not exist up there. So
Makes sense.
Prideful Sloth and Go-Go Town are on most of the social media platforms. Our social media managers got us set up on Blue Sky and Threads now as well too, and stuff like that. Due to the impending exodus of certain platforms.
Yes.
But yes. So, there are companies up there. Cheryl is very private and quiet, and I keep my horrible thoughts to Facebook and on private.
This makes perfect sense. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.